My next guest is something very rare in show business, a former child star who has her head on straight. Now, America fell in love with her as DJ Tanner on the sitcom Full House. She grew up to become a busy actress and producer, co-host of The View, star of the reboot Fuller House, a best-selling author, and most importantly, a mother of three and a champion of Christian values in, of all places, Hollywood. She's got a brand new book. It's called Kind is the New Classy, The Power of Living Graciously. Would you please welcome Candace Cameron Bure. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm delighted to have you. Your book is really awesome. It's a simple message that people ought to be nice. I mean, how hard should that be?
You think it should be simple. It is simple to be nice, but it actually takes more effort than being mean.
Does it really?
It does. I think that's why it feels countercultural. I think more people tend to be angry. And so I want to put the spotlight back on kindness. And even though it does take effort, it is very simple to extend kindness to one another.
And it actually melts differences. One of the things that really touched me in your book, one of the opening scenes, if you will, was with one of your co-stars on The View, somebody who, by the way, this will surprise people both in the audience and home. I love Whoopi Goldberg. I really do.
So do
I think she's a beautiful person and one of the most underappreciated talents of our day. An incredible actress and just terrific. You talk about a moment where you were just having a bad day, huddled up in a closet, crying.
Yep.
And of all the people that came and offered you comfort, it was Whoopi Goldberg.
It was. Yeah, it was the morning that the San Bernardino shootings had happened, and 14 people had died, and all the Los Angeles schools were on lockdown. And I was in New York that day about to go on live television. We had just gotten the news, and my children were at home in Los Angeles. They were on lockdown in the schools, and I felt so panicked because I couldn't get to them, I couldn't reach them, and I wasn't home. I was thousands of miles away. And I just didn't know how I was about to get through a live show. And I was in my closet, in my dressing room closet, praying and crying all at the same time, because it was the furthest place away from everyone, or so it seemed. But this persistent knock just kept on going. And when I finally opened the door, because I really didn't want to, Whoopi stood there and she asked if she could come in, and I said yes, and she just opened her arms and she said, "Come here, come here." And she just hugged me, and I cried into her shoulder, and she just wouldn't let me go until I let go. And it was so beautiful, and she said, "Listen, I've got you. I've got you. Speak from your heart. I'm not going to let you fall out there, and we'll get through it."
See, that's a side of her that a lot of people, I think, have never seen. They just see that she's highly opinionated, and she is. But I love her for that, because she's very open about it.
Yeah.
And why can't we have that kind of relationship with people with whom we may not share political views, and we may even poke at each other about it, but still, there's a human kindness that bridges all that. Why can't we do that?
Well, I think we can, and one of the ways that I try to do that, and one of the things I would often think about when I was co-hosting The View and we were discussing that, was to think about having empathy for the person that I was talking to, and compassion. Anytime we would get into a debate, of course I had my opinion, but I wanted to be open enough to listen to theirs and also have an empathy and understanding of why they have the viewpoint that they do. Maybe there are circumstances or their upbringing. And so it helps soften my heart to say, well, this may not be what I think is true, if I have a biblical worldview, but I can understand why you have your view, and I want to be there to listen to that person. And that really helped me a lot, and it's something that helps me with every conversation that I have with people.
Candace, you are very well known as a person who has taken your faith with you wherever you go, whether it's to the movie set or television, wherever it is. But what's something that I learned about you that I was not aware of, and that is that you did not grow up in a strong, Christian home. It was like you were 12 years old when your parents even started going to church.
That's right. I know most people, because of my brother as well, Kirk, think that we grew up in a Christian home, but my parents actually had gotten separated when I was 12, and a friend had invited them to go to church in hopes that maybe some counseling would help them work through their marriage, which it did. And they'll be celebrating 50 years very soon.
Wonderful.
Marriage, yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So it wasn't until I was 12 that I started going to church, and I say that I became a Christian at 12 because I did give my heart to Jesus, but I really wasn't walking with Christ until my early 20s, when my faith really became my own.
You've made the comment that if it were not for your faith, you would be an emotional wreck. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's so easy to let our emotions get the best of us. And if it weren't for my faith, I wouldn't have the Holy Spirit. I wouldn't have the joy, peace, and patience, and kindness, and goodness, and gentleness, and self-control that the Holy Spirit gives me. And so I would be an emotional wreck, and those emotions would just be at the forefront of it all.
Candace, I think your book is going to be a real gift to people, not just women, but every person who says, boy, this is a mean world out there. How can we be a little nicer to each other? And that's what it is all about. I want to thank Candace Cameron Bure for her kindness in visiting with us. Kind is the new classy. It's available at all major booksellers, and you can catch up with everything that Candace is doing, and it's a lot she's doing. Go to her Instagram account at Candace C. Bure, and I hope you'll do that, and be sure and get this book, that Kind is the new classy, because it really is.